Now the schedule gets good. We got some great conference matchups, plus a couple of non-con rivalries out west. Everything you need to know for Week 4 Big Ten football, Locked On Big Ten, starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, hit that free subscribe button down below, and that way you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, that helps us out as well. And did you know you can hype YouTube videos as well? This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Just like there's more to every player, more dedication, more attention to detail, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Stay tuned later in the episode for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda Move and Be Moved. So, we got some nice conference head-to-head matchups this weekend. Plus, we'll do our game-by-game previews, everything you need to know. And then we go on the record with our Pigskin Picks on every single Big Ten game. Look, it's the weekend we all been waiting for, right? More conference head-to-head matchups, not so many cupcake non-cons and all that. That's all behind us as we move forward. And we've had some nice non-conference games with like Texas and Ohio State and, of course, Michigan and Oklahoma. Look, we still have Oregon State this weekend. We still have the Apple Cup between Washington and Washington State. But no more opponents like Houston Christian or Kennesaw State on any Big Ten team schedules. No offense to those schools personally, of course. Let's chop it up. Let's do it game by game. And let's start it out chronologically. We got a game tonight. Friday night, one game under the lights on Friday Night Lights. It is Iowa at Rutgers. That is at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on Fox. These two teams are similar. They're both developmental programs. They both make their living in the trenches. They bludgeon their opponents, and they don't make mistakes on offense. Special teams are always solid. Although I will point out that Rutgers has added an offensive element to their attack this year. They put up some points. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Of course, last week with Iowa, Kirk Ferentz in his 27th year got win number 206 to move past Woody Hayes from Ohio State as the all-time wins leader in Big Ten history. And Greg Schiano at Rutgers has noticed. He actually said he regrets leaving Rutgers. Of course, most of you know that this is his second stint at Rutgers. He was there before, then he left, went to take his chances in the NFL with the Buccaneers. That didn't work out, bounced around a little bit, Ohio State assistant, and now back at Rutgers. He wished he had stayed this whole time and put together a decades-long stretch, just like Kirk Ferentz has at Iowa. He wishes he had done that at Rutgers. By the way, Rutgers has never beaten Iowa. Only 4 meetings in their past, but never have. But Rutgers has a new vibe this year. Their offense is explosive. They scored 30 or more points in 7 straight games dating back to last season behind quarterback Ethan Kaliak-Manis. His weapons, though, are questionable for this game. They got left tackle Tyler Needham, wide receiver Ian Strong, who, by the way, has had 2 100-yard receiving games already this season, running back C.J. Campbell. They're all banged up right now. So while Rutgers' offense has been flying high, their defense has been giving up some points, and Iowa's going to just run right at them. Iowa's averaging 214 yards per game, 5th best in the Big Ten. Got a hot stat for you here. Iowa is converting third downs at a 54% clip. Yeah, that's pretty good. Quarterback Mark Gronowski, though, not a passing threat, but he can run for a first down on third down, and that's where they've had some success. So we'll make our picks for this game along with the others at the end of this podcast here. Saturday, we got Maryland at Wisconsin, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, NBC Peacock. Of these two teams, Maryland is the one with the quarterback position settled. True freshman Malik Washington, we've talked about him numerous times on this podcast. We're big fans of his. He's off to a hot start. He was the number 1 recruit in Maryland. He stayed. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes and only 1 interception so far. Not bad for an 18-year-old freshman. He's got the same build as Bryce Underwood that we pay a lot of attention to at Michigan, 6'4", 230 pounds. And these two have been going back and forth. One of these two are going to win the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. So far, Malik Washington has 2 Big Ten Freshman of the Week awards. Bryce Underwood has 1. He got it last week, as a matter of fact. But he may single-handedly carry Mike Loxley's program back into positive territory after struggling with a 4-win season last year. Plus, the Terps defense is off to a hot start. 7 interceptions on 2 pick sixes already this year. Meanwhile, quarterback has been an issue for Wisconsin since Luke Fickell arrived in Madison. Quarterback Billy Edwards Jr., who, by the way, transferred from Maryland this offseason, he got hurt in week 1. Danny O'Neal has taken his place. Badgers are coming off that ugly loss at Alabama last week. Edwards is listed as questionable, but he has been taking some first-team snaps this week. That's something he has not done over the last week and a half or so. So this truly may be a game-time decision for QB1. However, I got to believe he's going to want to get out there and play against his former team. By the way, Camp Randall, always pumped up. This crowd's going to be alternating colors in the stands for the stripe out in this game. Oregon State at number 6, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks with the home one on this rivalry. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon kickoff local time on the West Coast. It'll be on the Big Ten Network. Oregon is undefeated. Meanwhile, Oregon State, they're undefeated in the last year. They're undefeated this year. Oregon State has lost 9 of its last 10 going back to last year. We got 2 programs going in 2 different directions. Still a rivalry game, though. And Oregon State will always be mad at Oregon for leaving them behind when the Ducks dumped them to jump into the Big Ten. But that only goes so far. The talent level between these 2 teams is day and night. The Ducks have already scored 22 touchdowns this season. That's number 2 in the country. They're number 3 in points per game at 54. They average over 8 yards per play. They average over 500 yards a game. Defensively, the Ducks just as good. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns, none through the air yet. But maybe most impressively, the Ducks don't hurt themselves. They average just 3 penalties a game. They committed 0 penalties in their game last week against Northwestern. Can't get any better than that. Meanwhile, Oregon State, they do have a good quarterback in Malik Murphy. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. He's a transfer from Duke, got a big arm. He's going to chuck it down there. He's had 14 pass plays of 20 or more yards already this year. Hey, Jerry Mixon from Oregon should get a shot or 2 at an interception in this game. Keep an eye on that. Purdue is at number 8, Notre Dame. That's the 3:30 Eastern game on NBC. Of course, the USC-Notre Dame rivalry is big, and now Purdue gets to play both of those schools back-to-back weeks. USC last week, Notre Dame this week. Unenviable scheduling for anybody. And plus, Purdue's got to face a pretty mad Notre Dame team that is 0-2, and they got to find a way to get a win. Now, keep in mind, they've only lost their 2 games to both ranked opponents by a total of 4 points. So I don't think there's a lot wrong with Notre Dame, just bad circumstances. They're probably going to try and take out their frustrations on the Boilermakers. And while the Irish have a freshman at quarterback in CJ Carr, he is one of the best running backs in the country behind him at Jeremiah Love. Purdue has the country's 63rd ranked rushing defense. That's not a good matchup right there. But Purdue does have a solid running back in its own right in Devin Mockabee, the one lone holdout starter from last year's team that's still on the team. But USC did a good job on him, held him to 45 yards on the ground. He's going to need to do more than that if the Boilermakers want to hang here with Notre Dame. We're just scratching the surface on this. We're going to do the rest of the games, and then I'm going to have my Pigskin Picks because we got some important games to talk about here. But first, I want to tell you, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below so you never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, that would be great. Don't forget, we have a website, talkbig10.com. We put all of our podcasts there. You can go back and check out yesterday's podcast. Had a big one on Nico and UCLA if you want to check that out. You can also get Big Ten gear, your favorite Big Ten team. We got links for you right there for your convenience because pretty soon you're going to be thinking about Christmas shopping. So get your school spirit with the shirts, hats, and t-shirts, all that with our podcast at talkbig10.com. Now, some other games that we are going to highlight and discuss. We are going to discuss the Michigan game at Nebraska. Expect that one to be close. Illinois is at Indiana. Under the lights, nighttime. It's really a September elimination game regarding the playoffs. Plus, we'll have some news. We'll have an update on when we're going live on Saturday, tomorrow. And we go on the record with our fearless Pigskin Picks. All that coming up in a minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. This is Mazda's Moving the Game Forward, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. Because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible forward. It reminds us, go that extra yard, shift to that extra gear, keep moving the game forward. And just like a wide receiver at Indiana, for example, Omar Cooper, keeping things moving forward last week. 10 catches, 207 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Try and beat that, right? So when you follow what moves you, like Cooper, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Wayfair. The weather's cooling down. You're thinking, I need to redecorate, all that kind of stuff, get things looking better, and the days are getting shorter. It's all that fall weather, football season. Time to make the home feel a little cozier with Wayfair. And when it comes to cozifying your space this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. My wife and I shop there all the time. Wayfair has everything you need to get in the mood for the season, whether it's comfy recliners, warm bedding, autumn decor, espresso machine. I mean, they got all kinds of cool stuff that just make your favorite, your place in your home just a special place. I like to use them for a lot of their outdoor furniture, fire pit accessories, that kind of stuff. Always great. Cozifying your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates, from comfy recliners to cozy bedding to autumn decor. You'll find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style for every home. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube as well. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like, that'd be great too. Plus, we have a website, talkbig10.com, full of all of our podcasts and merchandise. All right, as promised, let's deliver on the rest of these games in the Big Ten. Big one, Michigan is at Nebraska, 3:30 Eastern time on CBS, 12:30 on the West Coast. This matchup, it's a status check, all right, to see where both teams are at this point. Should be a fun quarterback matchup. The Wolverines bring in freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood, who we were briefly mentioning a moment ago. Look, they took the training wheels off of him, let him throw a little deeper, let him run a little more. Ran for 114 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns last week versus Central Michigan. Biff Poggi, of course, is the interim head coach. He will remain so for this game. Sherrone Moore sitting out of this game. Game 2 of his 2-game self-imposed suspension for Spygate. That suspension ends at midnight Saturday night, probably about the time the team's getting home from the road trip. He can go back to normal business as usual. Meanwhile, Matt Rule's Huskers, they're going to be ready with sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola. He's got 8 touchdowns, no picks yet, completes 77% of his passes. Exactly what everybody expected of him this year. As you know, he had his big freshman year last year where he came onto campus and was the guy right away. And we've been looking forward to seeing how he does his sophomore year, as he's very comfortable now. Kentucky transfer wide receiver Dane Key is getting more comfortable too. He has 13 catches for 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. Surprisingly, Nebraska has the number 1 passing defense in the country right now. Did you know that? Granted, their last 2 games have been against Akron and Houston Christian, but they did hold Cincinnati to 69 yards passing. And you look at that, though, and then you look at the other side. They're not that great against the run. And unfortunately for Nebraska, that's what Michigan does well. That's their bread and butter. Also, I should point out the Huskers have lost 27 in a row to ranked teams. Michigan's a ranked team. So we'll see. This is one of the 2 games we're going to go live after here, right here on Locked On Big Ten here on our YouTube channel. We always pick a key game every Saturday. We go live for my immediate reaction and your immediate reaction, because I can see your real live time comments. We're going to do it twice on Saturday. We've never done a doubleheader before. We're going to go live after the Michigan-Nebraska game for about a half hour. This will probably be about 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. So mark your calendars for that. We will also go live later that night after the Illinois-Indiana game. We'll talk more about that in a moment. One of the non-conference rivalry games we do have, Washington and Washington State on at Pullman, 7:30 Eastern on CBS, 4:30 Pacific. For those of you on the West Coast watching it, this is the 117th meeting of the Apple Cup. Other than the 2020 COVID year, these teams have played every year since 1945, and the Huskies have dominated the series 76-34 and 6 ties. However, they have split the last 4 meetings, so you never know. And just like the Oregon State game, the Cougars may have some bad feelings toward the Huskies for leaving them behind when they jump to the Big Ten. Huskies quarterback, Jamal Williams Jr., is my preseason Big Ten breakout player of the year to watch. So we'll see how he continues to progress. They have running back Jonah Coleman, who has been ridiculous with his numbers. Week 1, he rushed for 177 yards. Week 2, he had 5 touchdowns on just 15 touches. Absolutely incredible. He's going to be rested now because Washington was off last week. Expect a big game out of Jonah Coleman. All right, that Indiana game hosting Illinois. Illinois comes in number 9, Indiana number 22 in the country. I'm sorry, they're number 19 in the country. That game's on 7:30 on NBC, 4:30 on the West Coast. It's the Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. 21 wins between these two teams last year. Quarterback Luke Altmaier returned to Illinois after toying with going to Tennessee when Nico Iamaleava left. But he decided, you know what? I got my guys here. Unfinished business in Illinois. We got a chance to do something here. So he's there. Hank Beatty is putting up monster numbers. He's his favorite receiver. He does returns. He does runs. He does it all. He's a triple threat out there. And speaking of monster numbers, we mentioned, of course, our Omar Cooper for the Hoosiers coming off a 10-catch, 270-yard, 4-touchdown performance against Indiana State last week. He's red hot. Cal transfer and quarterback Fernando Mendoza. He's the one throwing him the ball. And this could be an electric atmosphere at Indiana. It's going to be a red out. Everybody's going to wear red under the lights, national TV. Get ready for it. And as I've been talking about all week and all since last summer, really, this game, I think this is for the 4th Big Ten playoff spot. I think the Big Ten gets 4 teams in. You know, you got Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. Who's the 4th team? I think the 4th team is the winner of this game between Illinois and Indiana. I really do. So, and the loser of this game is going to have to settle for trying to be the top of the second tier because it'll be too much to overcome, I think, moving forward. When you look at scheduling and tiebreakers between these two teams, I think the winner has an inside chance to get that 4th spot in the Big Ten in the college football playoffs. Plus, we should get some great quotes from these coaches. Brett Bielema and Kurt Cignetti are there 2 better guys in front of the media? Fantastic. As I reminded you earlier, we are going live after that game as well here on Locked On Big Ten. We invite you to join us. Again, about 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, roughly. We'll go after the winning coach does a final interview on the field, and then we figure that at that point, people stop watching, and they can click over and watch us instead. Michigan State is at USC. Very late game, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific, primetime on the West Coast. That'll be on Fox. And this game is going to be pretty – first of all, this is a mascot game. The Trojans and Spartans. It's fantastic. When you're finished here, by the way, we did a pretty full preview of this game, Michigan State and USC, on yesterday's Locked On Big Ten. When you're done here, go back for a second, listen, and check it out. Both teams come into this game at 3-0. Michigan State comes in with Aiden Childs showing remarkable improvement over last year. I did this on yesterday's podcast, but I'll do it for you here today. Through 3 games last year versus 3 games this year, 55% completion last year, 77% this, 72% this year. Last year, 569 yards through the air through 3 games. This year, 655. Last year, Childs had 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. This year, just 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. And he's tripled his yardage in rushing as well. They got a lineman, Luka Vincic. He's out. Star wide receiver Nick Marsh, questionable with a leg injury. They're a little banged up. Meanwhile, the Trojans are already 1-0 in the conference after the road win at Purdue. Quarterback Jade Maeva has 6 touchdown passes with no picks, and he's run for 2 more scores. Running the offense well right here. Got some nice receivers, including Mekhi Lemon He's a threat every time he touches the ball. He's got 16 catches, 311 yards, and 2 touchdowns already this year. And they have a running back room full of running backs. They got 3 guys that have rushed for 150 yards or more already so far this year. Waymon Jordan has 286 and 3 touchdowns for the ground attack. So watch out for him. By the way, side note here, Aiden Childs from Michigan State, when he entered the transfer portal at Oregon State and Jonathan Smith brought him with him to Michigan State, USC recruited him pretty hard right there. And he said, no, I'm going to stick with Jonathan Smith, and I'm going to go to Michigan State. And I think it had to do with the fact he grew up, he's from Long Beach, California, in Southern California. They did not recruit him out of high school. They just waited later for the transfer portal. It looked like he might have some talent. So maybe that had something to do with it, why he didn't go to USC. But he's excited to play in this game. He's going to play in front of a lot of friends and family. But it may have a chip on his shoulder because USC did not initially recruit him. And then one other note here, outside of the games, and we'll get to our Pigskin Picks in a moment because we always go on the record. The side note is, and we mentioned this in yesterday's podcast, that the NCAA decided to get rid of the spring football transfer portal. All right, remember we had 2, one in the right after the season and then one in the spring. Well, they got rid of the spring one. They have yet to decide when the winter portal will be. As of right now, it's like right after the season ends in December. There's talk of maybe doing just a 10-day period in early January. And then maybe if your team makes a semifinal or the finals of the college football playoffs, you'll have an extra 5-day extension to figure things out. None of that has been decided yet. None of it. So those details will come probably in another NCAA meeting in October. All right. Are you ready? We're ready for all of this. It's time for our Pigskin Picks. We go on the record with our bold predictions. I will have that for you in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. This episode is brought to you by Square, your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's a local sports bar packed on game days, maybe that coffee shop around the corner that knows your name and your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These places are bringing people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. So, it's the kind of place where you walk in, everybody knows your name, kind of like Cheers, right? The staff, they're like family. And they've been serving the community for years. And spots like that just make the neighborhood feel like home. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. So go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite local neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See ya in the neighborhood. It's time for DoorDash Streaks. That's right. We're going to talk about what we're going to do here this weekend. You got to put your streaks together, just like you want your team to put streaks together. Just like your favorite MVP player, always putting streaks together, always delivering. Who delivers? DoorDash delivers. This is powered by DoorDash. So just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. We're going to break it down. Again, I want to highlight Indiana receiver Omar Cooper Jr. for his 10-catch, 207-yard, and 4 touchdown performance against Indiana State last week. That's a breakout performance. That's delivering. That's reliable. And just like Omar Cooper delivered for Indiana, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, just put a streak together every week. You could save every Saturday that you order. Stack it up all season long, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo good through November 18th. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. Let's do it. Our Pigskin Picks. We go on the record. If you're on audio, I'm going to put these, if you're on Spotify or Apple, that's great, by the way. Thank you. Here on video on YouTube, we're going to put the screen up and take a look. So we got the one Friday game today, Iowa at Rutgers. Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite on the road. The over-under, the total at 46.5. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to go against Rutgers. They're putting up tons of points. So first of all, I like the over in this one. This is a rare time I'll take an Iowa game and take the over 46.5. Rutgers, they're going to score 30. Can Iowa keep up? I think Rutgers wins this game. I think this line is off. Plus home field advantage, all that. I will take Rutgers, the underdog, for the win there. Saturday, Maryland at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 9.5-point favorite at home. The number's 44.5. I think this is another miss by Vegas. I'm taking Maryland on this one. I don't think Wisconsin has its act together, and I think Maryland's feeling pretty good about itself, along with Malik Washington and company, and they've been putting points on the board. So I think this is a miss. I think Maryland, at the very least, gets the number, maybe even wins on the road outright as a road dog. I also like the over 44.5 on this one. Oregon hosting Oregon State. The number here, 34.5. They duped me last week a little bit. They were 28.5-point favorites against Northwestern. They did not cover. And the week before, they were 28.5-point favorites, and they won by 66. So I think, though, that these are two programs going in two different directions. I like Oregon to win. I like them to win it by at least 5 touchdowns. They'll cover, and they will get close to shooting this number over the 55.5. I like all these overs. Here, take the over. Purdue is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 26.5-point favorite in this game. And I think they're going to cover. Last year's game was 66-7. I'll take the over on that one as well. Let's see what else we got here. I'm not hesitating. These are bold picks, right? Our bold predictions. Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan's a 1.5 favorite. I think that's about right. I think Michigan can win by a field goal, somewhere between 3 and 7 points in this game. I like the under. 46.5. That's the first one. I like the under. Washington at Washington State. I think Washington will win by more than 3 touchdowns. Will cover the 20.5, and I think that this number flies past the 53.5 number. Illinois at Indiana. I like Indiana in this one. Indiana's a 6.5-point favorite. I think they win by like 10 points in this game. I think they cover, and this number flies past the 52.5. And finally, Michigan State at USC. USC is a 17.5-point favorite. You know what? I think Michigan State plays them tougher than you think, but I think maybe a late touchdown and USC starts to pull away, and I think they do cover this, and I do think they'll be over 56.5. So there you have it. I'm over on all but one of these games, but we don't shy away from our opinion or our picks. What do you think? Did we get them right? Yeah? No? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments section. Maybe I got your team wrong. You can let me know. Many ways for you to interact with this podcast as well. We'll get the latest news, analysis, and opinion every single day. Don't forget, we are going live tomorrow after the Michigan-Nebraska game, and also live after the Illinois-Indiana game. Many ways for you to interact with us. Twitter at TalkBig10, number 10. Don't forget our website, talkbig10.com, with the number 10 podcasts and school merchandise available right there for you. Go back and check it out. Check out a second listen from yesterday. Again, UCLA fans did one on Nico. Will he transfer at the end of the year? You don't want to miss that. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Like I said, we're here every single day. And if you can do me a favor, share, follow, and like, we would appreciate that very much. And I want to tell you about a very big deal with the Locked On family, college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV present the College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll does a great job on Locked On Big 12, anchors the whole show, along with 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, plus former college star Jesse Holley, and all of our Locked On experts breaking down their team's games coming up this weekend. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That'll do it for us. Enjoy the games this weekend and be part of our live broadcasts on Saturday, the doubleheader that we're doing. I'll look forward to seeing you guys in your comments with all of that. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll see you then.